Dragon Quest XI is a grand, light-hearted adventure with enough cheesy humor and bad puns to make your eyes roll in on themselves. It's a true traditional RPG with a turn-based combat and a heavy emphasis on team optimization. Sometimes, though, it does follow those traditions to a fault. The combat, while challenging in spots, doesn't really do anything new to shake up the formula. Each character takes their turn individually from a list of actions. If you don't want to control each character's action, you can delegate them to fight wisely, aggressively, or focus on healing. Although fighting wisely wasn't really up to snuff, for many times I caught my party using group spells on a single enemy. For any bigger, relevant fights, I always ended up controlling the entire party myself. My favorite part of the combat were the pep abilities. You'd gain your pep by taking an amount of damage after a while. This was mainly used to activate special powers from your team, and depending on which characters were pepped up, the game offered a unique action using those specific party members. The combat itself can be fun. I found myself attacking every new enemy I saw just to see what they were capable of. The game can feel a bit grindy in parts, where the combat was less interesting and just a time sink to level up. And while leveling up is important, having the best equipment was equally so. There were several times I had a hard time in a dungeon, and quickly after upgrading my equipment, the once perilous area became a walk in the park. Each character has a nifty skill tree that essentially lets you decide how the character is going to play, and while simple looking, it does force you to make some difficult choices. With the amount of skill points being slowly drip-fed to you, make sure you're not purchasing every other skill along the way before you get the ones you truly want. There's plenty to do in the world of Dragon Quest. From side quests to minigames, there's a variety of things you could miss if you just steamroll through the story. While this is a positive, most of the side quests really didn't leave many lasting impressions. You can ride your horse across the land, which is great for getting across those long stretches. You can also ram into enemies, which is surprisingly cathartic. But with the spell Zoom making me able to fast travel, I didn't really use the horse that often, because I was worried I'd blow through an area too quickly without gaining enough experience for my party. The story doesn't really offer anything deep or interesting as far as the plot devices go. With words like Chosen Luminary and The Dark One, the narrative plays out exactly how you figured it would. The characters, though, are where I think the game really shines, each with a great personality, especially the eccentric Sylvando. Listening to the party's banter was really fun and kept me engaged in what was happening moment to moment. The main character, however, is very much a non-talking blank slate, which really does the game a disservice, giving the hero of the story some kind of emotion or personality other than the one you insert into him, I feel could have elevated the otherwise simplistic narrative. The world does have a creative flair though, with its incredibly lighthearted tone on everything and inescapably great puns littered everywhere. It was always a joy to visit the Dragon Quest universe. The game's greatest asset by far is the breathtaking art direction of the world and its characters. The monsters are both colorful and designed beautifully, rivaling the rich art design of Pokemon. Dragon Quest is like a love letter to Akira Toriyama and the amazing illustrations he's brought to life. Dragon Quest has never faltered when it's come to the art, and for myself at least, it's one of the main reasons to play the game. As great as the tracks are, most of them do feel a bit dated and uninspired. The grand orchestra sounds nice, but listening to the same overworld theme for hours did get a bit grating, and on top of that, many transitions to different areas didn't change the music that was playing. It was very jarring at times when I was expecting some kind of change over to a new track, but it just kept playing the same music that was already starting to lose its welcome. Overall, I've played better RPGs, ones more rich and imaginative, and I definitely was not a fan of the more traditional old-school combat and narrative. Although, since this is just a preference, I don't really consider the traditional style a negative. It definitely pays much homage to the older Dragon Quest games, and fans of the series will no doubt love this new addition to the franchise, getting a 7 out of 10. This game's art and balanced turn-based combat is a well above average experience, but by no means does this game raise the bar in any way. If you're a fan of Dragon Quest, give this game a try. Otherwise, maybe wait for a slow month to give it a go. I hope you've enjoyed the review, and please, if you played the game, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Until next time, this is Game Ghost. Stay safe out there.